Yeah, are you ready for the good times, AC/DC? Well, the answer, we are ready for the good times, and the good times are here because it's finals time. Scheduled away in just about 10 minutes time, the DD2 drivers, and they're on the grid now. Those of you tuned in online, you can see the grid. Let's give them a call over. But guys, I want a wave from you when we call your name, and if Sarah gets amongst you, we want you to be talking to them. Starting on pole position from Antwerp in Belgium, it's Zen de Rua, and we get a wave from Zen. Well done. Applause from the drivers. Well done, guys. Joining him on the front row from Lithuania, Simas Judeversius. Well, Simas is the guy who's the tallest of them all. On row 2, done the applauding. We're going to applaud you now. From Hungary, it's Ferenc Kankshar. Ferenc Kankshar getting the applause. Alongside him from Great Britain, it's Lucas Orrock. Thanks, Lucas. Thanks for the wave. Row 3, it's another Brit. It's Sean Babington, the senior champion from last year. And he lines up with the championship leader coming into this event. From Finland, it's Mika Laiho. Mika Laiho also getting the applause. Last year's champion is on row 4. It's Matthias de Tige, the Belgian. Matthias, do we get a little bit of a wave? Well, very nearly. Matthias de Tige lines up alongside the French champion. It's Alexandra Finkelstein. Alexandra Finkelstein on row 4. And completing the top 10 on row 5. And a warm welcome to the Rotax Euro Challenge for Jordan Lennox-Lamb. Jordan Lennox-Lamb lining up alongside the Spirit Racing driver from Switzerland. That's Kevin Ludi. Row 6, 3 times the world champion in Rotax at Rotax level. The reigning world champion at this level from Canada. It's Ben Cooper. Ben Cooper gives us a little wave. Alongside him, another driver from the CIK classes and the WSK classes, Antonio Piccioni from here in Italy. Row 7, we heard him talking to Sarah, another Italian, 4 times a European champion in KZ and Super ICC. It's Alessandro Manetti. Alessandro's on row 7 alongside the British driver that's raced the most rounds in this series. It's Paddy P, Patrick Pierce. Row 8, Sandro Lukovic. Sandro, of course, from Austria. He lines up with the first of our masters from the Republic of South Africa, 3 times a Rotax world champion, Cristiano Magado. Pascal Marschall from Germany is on row 9, sharing it with the Swede Andreas Backman. And the top 20 is completed by the Frenchman Damien Viaume and the Brit Barry Pullinger. Just outside, where's the girls? I'm hearing the call. Well, how about the guys? What about the guys on row 11? Marcel Schirmer from Germany and Dennis Kroos from the Netherlands, third of the Masters. Row 12, Antti Ramo from Estonia and Chris Sturken from the Netherlands. Another of the Masters, it's Chris Adams, well, the United Nations man from Belgium, France and most of the Benelux nations in between. That just includes Luxembourg, doesn't it? He shares row 13 with Tom Putlick. Tom is from the United Kingdom. Erwin Montfort of the Netherlands is on row 14 with Maxi Fleischmann from Germany. And the top 30 is completed by, well, another United Nations man, born in France, lives in the Ivory Coast, based in Great Britain, or not sure he's not, works in Great Britain, now resident in Ireland. It's the incomparable Florent Lombert. He lines up with the lady of the class, Annalisa Dreispring of Germany. That's the top 30. Behind those, Igor Mukin from Russia shares row 16 with Martin Steinertz from Latvia. And another Russian, Alexander Zenkin, is on row 17 with Nicholas Olsen. Unlucky in the pre-final, Nicky Olsen, the Dane. We've got 6 minutes to go to the start of this one. Ladies and gentlemen, it's finals afternoon. Round 2 of the Rotax Euro Challenge 2013 here at Larghis Circuit in Italy.
Fantastic sight with them all lined up on the grid, and at the front of the grid Sarah is ready with the roving mic, and she's there with our pole position man Zen de Rua.
Well, thanks ever so much, Chris. I'm here with Zen. Zen, you're on pole position. Is that putting the pressure on for you right now? Yes and no. The field is much stronger this year. I mean, this race. But I've been here before, and those times I brought it to a good end. So I hope I can do this again. It's a long race, so we'll see.
Are you confident you're going to try and head out as fast as you can and then just stay out there and hope you're leaving it all behind you?
Yes, I think that everyone would like to have that. So we'll see after the first corner, and then lap by lap, I just drive and we'll see.
Well, I'm going to move over to Seamus. Seamus, you're on second place here. What's your strategy? Of course, you're going to be chasing Zen over there, but do you think you'll catch him?
All weekend we're missing speed in the dry, but I think now coming better and better, and the race is long and everything is possible.
What's your strategy? Are you going to try and keep a clean race, or are you going to be really scrabbling to try and fight your way through?
No, I think we fight clean, and for sure we do the best.
Best of luck to you. Chris, Ken, back to you.
Thanks very much, Sarah. Yeah, good to hear from the top two on the grid there. First you heard from Xen Dorua and then Simas Universis, the Belgian, the Lithuanian, separated by 4.6 seconds in the end in the pre-final, but I'm expecting it to be a lot closer come this race. To update you on the points, we saw them after the pre-final, but Mika Laiho still leads the championship. 118 points now after the pre-final, but by a reduced margin. Frank Kanchar second, joint second on 114. Xen Dorua has also got 114 points, so it's tightening up in the championship, but 4 points covering the top three. We've got 1 or 2 quick guys still to come through as well, potentially. We've already mentioned Jordan Lennox-Lamb from 9th on the grid. He potentially can make it higher up the order. Ben Cooper in kart 628 in 11th place on the grid. Alessandro Minetti, the best placed Masters in the pre-final, the Italian here in home country, 13th on the grid, the highest placed Masters driver, and he's 3 places clear of Cristiano Magado, the South African, who's there 16th on the grid. Right, qualifying very well indeed on the second row of the grid. Lucas Orrock, he's with Sarah.
Hi there, Lucas. Okay, you're starting off in 4th. What's your strategy planned?
I think pretty much the same as the last race, really. Just make sure I get round the start. Don't do anything outlandish on the first couple of laps. And then after that, I'll just chip away and see what kind of pace I've got. And I'll judge the race from there, really. But I think if everything goes our way, we're definitely capable of a podium here today.
Okay, best of luck to you.
Thank you.
Thanks very much, Sarah. Good to hear from Lucas. Right, the grid to be cleared, please. Ladies and gentlemen, the grid to be cleared now, because we are less than 3 minutes away from the start of our DD2 final. We've talked about the overall championship. Just a word on the DD2 Masters. Although they haven't gone quite as well as they did here in Belgium, Florent Lambert and Christoph Adams are still the top two, because they were the only point scorers. They're the only ones that come into this with a base of points. So Florent Lambert is still the Masters points leader with 60 points by my maths. Although I wasn't that good at maths at school, so don't take it for gospel. And Christoph Adams, 3 behind him on 57 points, I reckon, still second in the table. They're both here, they're both qualified, and good to see, Ken. A lot more Masters qualifying for the final. We've got Alessandro Minetti, we've got Cristiano Magado, we've got Dennis Kroos, Christoph Adams, Florent Lambert and Igor Mukin, 6 drivers all making it through, and it's going to be very interesting to see how they all get on, particularly I think the battle between Magnetti and Morgado.
Yeah, as you say, Chris, it makes it a lot more alive than was the case in the first round. And talking of the Masters, and in particular Chris Morgado, I didn't realise he was here, but hey, hope you can hear me. Ralph Odendaal from South Africa, a champion in this series a few years back, a world number 2, and very, very nearly a Rotax world champion. Have to say, I'm sorry I didn't get the chance to speak to you, Ralph. Ralph Odendaal, welcome to the Larghi circuit here in Italy, and those of you tuned in online in South Africa and everywhere else around the globe, thanks for doing so.
Yes, indeed. If you want to send in some messages via the RGMMC Twitter account, please do so. It's all set up for the afternoon. Go on Twitter and go to send your message, address it to @RGMMC. But a message of good luck from Nick Kay back in the UK to Tom Pitlick. Tom Pitlick, who has made it through to the final, and congratulations to Tom for doing that, having come through the second chance race. Tom is in kart number 641, and he starts back in 26th position. So hello to all our viewers in the UK, across Europe and across the world. I've had tweets over the last couple of meetings from as far afield as Malaysia, the States, Jamaica, Canada, the UK, and right across Europe. The Netherlands and Belgium pretty busy on the messaging front, the Benelux countries, over the last couple of days. So the engine's fired up, Ken. In less than 30 seconds time, the carts will be sent away on the formation laps, and we have Zenderer, who has just looked on sensational form all weekend long, on pole position, but he's got a tough competition here from Seamus Universis, Ferenc Kanchar in particular, who have also looked very solid all the way through the weekend. And of course there's that factor of luck, of chance, that will come into this race as well. So it is going to be an absolute cracker, I think, to see who comes out on top. Mika Laiho is going to do very well to repeat the feat that he did in Belgium of getting a win here, back from 6th on the grid, isn't he?
Absolutely, Chris. Mika Laiho, not at his absolute most scintillating, but he did show some good form late yesterday afternoon in the rain. Oh, and we've got a non-starter. Who is the guy just being pushed off? Oh dear, it wasn't one of the front runners, but we don't want to lose anybody from a final. That is so disappointing. Didn't see that on screen, just saw it out of a side window. And there's no way I can tell you who it is, although I think Chris and Jill are both working on it, actually.
Nicholas Olsen, who was due to start last. You can just see his helmet in front of the camera there, I'm afraid, as he pops up in front of the screen. So Nicholas Olsen, I'm afraid, out already, unless he can get it fired back up in time for this next formation lap, because they have 2 formation laps before the rolling start begins.
If he had to start from pit lane, he won't have lost a lot, will he?
No. Is I'm sure working away. Let's have a look. Yeah, they're trying to fire it back up, I think, or are they just wheeling it to safety? No, you can see James Guydale wheeling it away at the moment, so it's not looking good, I'm afraid, for Nicholas Olsen. So it looks like it might be 33 to take the start, Ken.
Well, that is bad luck for Nicky Olsen, but I guess we can say thank goodness it's not one of our front runners. Well, guys, Chris Hartley and myself have been saying this all weekend, and I make no apology for doing so. What an array of talent here. You really cannot look here and say, I know for certain who's going to be the winner. I know for certain we're going to get a good race out of Poleman Senderuva and likewise Seamus Udavicius, but boy, oh boy, the talent behind them is immense. It should have been a 34-driver final. Sadly, it's going to be a 33-driver final with last man Nicholas Olsen confirmed as a non-starter. This is the first of our 3 finals here at the Largis Circuit, Castelletto. The race distance in DD2 in the final is 16 laps. On pole position, Senderuva, and to call the start of the race for you, it's Chris Hartley.
Okay then, this is it, the moment that counts. Their focus will be at absolute 100% for the next 10 or 15 minutes in this final. Zenderer leads them round, ready for the start. Is it going to be a first time start? They look pretty well bunched up. Red lights go out, race gets underway. It's a cracking start for Derua. Hanging onto his tail is Ferenc Kanchar in second place. A good start for the 2 men on the inside row. Lucas Ora battling away to try and get himself over to third place. Has he done it? No, he has to back off out of it. So he drops down to 4th position. He had a good go at it. Seamus Universis is the one who was in 3rd place, but he's just lost out, I think, to Mika Laiho. Mika Laiho, I reckon, is the one that's come through on the way onto the back straight to get into 4th position. Sean Babington just behind the pair of them in 6th place. So Zenderoa with a perfect start. He's had these starts nailed all weekend long, come wet, come dry, whatever the conditions. He's done a terrific job. So he leads the way through. University's not with such a good start. Frank Kanchar with a very good start to get himself into contention. But Derua went away, and quite cleverly, from 3rd on the grid, the Hungarian driver, Frank Kanchar, just followed him through. So here they come at the end of the first lap to cross the line. University, having dropped down from 2nd to 3rd, has got a bit of a gap now, a bit of an advantage over Mika Laiho. Sean Babington, the British driver, the senior champion from last year, is in 5th place. In 6th place, it's Kevin Ludi. Up to 7th, a good start for Jordan Lennox Lamb. He caught 6.61, and he looks very quick as they head now towards the back straight, the dark coloured suit. Can he get ahead of Kevin Ludi on the run down towards turn 9? The answer is not quite yet. So top 7 stayers they are. Finkelstein is 8th. Cristiano Magado is the top master in 9th place, and then the other triple world champion Ben Cooper is 10th again.
Yeah, good effort by Jordan Lennox-Lamb, getting close to Kevin Lude. He's still not quite gone past him, or has he? I think maybe Jordan Lennox-Lamb has picked up the place. Just going back to the start, Seamus Udavicius, one of those off-pole drivers willing to throw away the fast start to make sure he can slot in not too far behind. It's worked to a degree. The only disadvantage, he's lost second place to Ferenc Kankshaw and a little bit of distance behind. Now he's coming under pressure from Mika Laiho. And Mika Laiho, God forbid us, but we've been saying he hasn't been showing his real form. He hasn't, but he is now. This is only lap 3 of a 16-lap final, and Mika Laiho, the championship leader, putting pressure on Seamus Udavicius, the guy in front, not able to get past the tall Lithuanian, but at the bottom of your screen on RGMMC TV, 3rd and 4th is the battle we're talking about. Seamus Udavicius is 3rd, chasing him hard is the champion leader, the championship leader Mika Laiho, but coming round now to start lap 4, the gap was 0.3 of a second, it's 0.39 of a second now, so Kasendarua just getting a little bit further away from Ferenc Kankshaw in 2nd place.
Keeping my eye on Mika Laiho, who looks very rapid in 4th place. He's glued himself to the tail of the 663 cart of Udavicius. He's got a decent run onto the back straight. Has he got the toe here? Is he going to pull out? No, it's pretty tight to pass there. Even though it's a long straight, they don't knock that much speed off into the right-hander, so they're not really gunning the brakes as much as you might expect. So the opportunities to overtake not quite as big as you might think at the end of that big long back straight. Into the hairpin sections they go. They split themselves off into pairs. 1st and 2nd, then 3rd and 4th, then 5th and 6th. 6th places now. Jordan Lennox-Lamb making his way up, having made his way up in the pre-final quite a few places. He's come up from 9th position in this race. Mika Laiho, much tighter line, much tighter exit onto the start-finish straight, but he still doesn't really close in on the Udavicius. And then 5th and 6th, Sean Babington.
Laiho goes!
Laiho's down around the outside through turn 3. He's done it. Laiho, great move there to get through to 3rd place. Babington closing in now on Udavicius, taking with him Jordan Lennox-Lamb as they make their way onto the back straight. So now it's Daruva, Kankshaw, Laiho the top 3, Udavicius, Babington and Lamb 4th, 5th and 6th.
Yeah, and Kevin Lude also got a bit of breathing space in the sense that he's 1 and a bit seconds in front of Ben Cooper, but you can bet your bottom dollar that the Canadian-based British-born world champion will be closing that gap in the Masters now, and Sean Babington has lost 5th place to Jordan Lennox-Lamb, and the leading master is Alessandro Manetti in a very respectable 9th place overall. This is the start of lap 6.
Yeah, good effort by Magnetti. Finkelstein is just behind him. Cooper is just ahead of him. Igor Mukin, looks like we've lost him, afraid, or he's right at the back of the field. We lost Piccioni, Shermer. We knew Olsen didn't make the start. Race leaders go onto the back straight with a 7/10 of a second now, the difference between Darua and Kankshaw. And looking at the lap times, Mika Laiho is flying. The flying Finn is 2/10 of a second quicker than the driver, the Hungarian, in 2nd place. He's beginning to close the gap, and very quick as well. We've got Jordan Lennox-Lamb coming through the order with a 49.2. So Laiho and Lamb inside that top 6. They're the 2 quickest. The drivers running in 3rd and 5th.
Quickest overall, though, one of the Masters, Alessandro Manetti, 48.865. That's helped him up to 9th place. Let's try and see him as he goes before us. Yes, there is the cart 765, and he's very close, isn't he, to Ben Cooper. You really can't imagine that Ben Cooper is going to see one of the Masters sweep past him. Well, how many domestic, European and world titles do they hold between them? It's a fascinating battle at the bottom of the top 10, as it were. Down the back straight, the blue Praga race suit is being worn by Alessandro Manetti. The lighter white and red race suit by Ben Cooper, and that's a good scrap. It's 8th and 9th, not 9th and 10th, but in front of him.
Oh, here comes Jordan Lennox-Lamb up the inside on the way to the 2nd hairpin, and he's got himself up to 4th place. A last dash move. He came from a long way back to get up the inside ahead of Udavicius, who's going backwards in this race now. Lennox-Lamb from 9th, he's up to 4th, Ken.
And Udavicius in cart 603, in cart 663, also under pressure now from Sean Babington, although the immediate pressure just eased a little bit. Zendarua looking really relaxed, isn't he, Chris? You look at, we talked about driving styles, those that are stiff, those that incline their bodies. It's looking so good for Zendarua. This is lap 8 of a 16-lap race, so we're heading to the half race distance. Is virtually a full second to the good over Ferenc Kankshaw. Mika Laiho definitely finding his form when it counts the most. But, as you predicted earlier in the day, Jordan Lennox-Lamb, he's a CRG factory driver and he's not here to make up numbers. He's in 4th place with a long way to go to catch Mika Laiho for the last of the podium places. But there's 8 laps to go. 8 laps gone, 8 laps to go. Half race distance in the DD2 final.
Alessandro Manetti has just picked up a place. Manetti down the inside of Kevin Ludi into the first corner. So Manetti, the top Masters driver, the top over 32-year-old, is now up into 8th place. Fantastic effort. He's in his home country, of course. He's one of the drivers, one of the few drivers that will, I'm sure, have had lots of race experience at this track, because it's the first time that the Euro Challenge has come to this circuit here in northern Italy. So Darua leads the race, 48.7. Kanchar second with a 48.9. A 49.0 for Laiho in third. A 48.7 for Lennox-Lamb in 4th place. So Jordan Lennox-Lamb in 4th place took the best part of 0.3 of a second out of Mika Laiho in the battle for the final podium position. The race leader Darua out of the last corner there. You see over the line he goes with the turquoise helmet into the first turn. There in second place, French Kanchar looking for his second consecutive podium, having finished second in the opening round 6 weeks ago in Belgium. And there in third place, Mika Laiho pushing on, but again Mika losing about 1/10 of a second to Jordan Lennox-Lamb. So the gap from third to fourth reduced to 0.8 of a second.
We're on lap 10 of a 16-lap DD2 final, and Zendarua's lead just marginally decreased. Ferenc Kanchar has just done a 48.9 as against Senderuva's 49.1. Of course, Zen would be entitled to take a mid-race mini breather, so to speak, having established the cushion that he has, but it's very competitive behind him. Jordan Lennox-Lamb in 4th place, still got a lot of work to do to catch Mika Laiho in 3rd place for that last podium position, but looks to me as if he is just inching closer. Much tighter behind with Seamus Udovicius going 5th, Sean Babington 6th, Ben Cooper 7th, and then this excellent drive by Alessandro Manetti, leader of the Masters, 8th on circuit in front of Kevin Ludi. Alex Finkelstein just completing the top 10 in front of another Frenchman, Damien Viaume. The next of the Masters, Chris Adams, is way down in 20th place, and Chris Magado, it's ended in tears because he went out on the 5th lap. So Chris Magado, all of that hard work has been undone, and Manetti now 8th leads the Masters from Adams 20th in 2nd place, and Igor Mukin is down in 27th place on the track, but 3rd overall. This is the start of lap 12.
If you want to know how tight and competitive it is in international kart racing, in Euro Rotax Challenge racing, on the last lap, the top 7 drivers all set a time of 48.8 seconds. The top 7 drivers all lapped to within 1/2 of 1/10 of a second of each other, 1/10 of a second of each other. But Zendarua is into the 48.6s now, the race leader, so he's pulled out for the first time in the race, really, an advantage of more than a second. He's 1.1 seconds clear now of French Kanchar. What about Mika Laiho in 3rd place? 48.9 to 48.7 for Jordan Lennox-Lamb. Again there with a dark-coloured race suit. The British driver in 4th place has got his head down. Udovicius is also on a similar pace to Lennox-Lamb. A couple of kart lengths back, but 4th and 5th just edging ever closer towards that 3rd place kart of Mika Laiho. Mika with the orange helmet looks over his shoulder over the start-finish line. They now go. In 5th place, Udovicius. 6th is Babington. 7th is Ben Cooper. 8th, the leading Masters driver, is Alessandro Manetti. Kevin Ludi is 9th. Alex Finkelstein is in 10th position. Chris Sturken has continued his progress, having qualified at the back of the grid from the second chance race. He is now up into 18th position overall. Not a bad effort. We've got 12 laps done. We've got 4 to go, including the one we're on, Ken.
And the champion goes out of the race on lap 11, was that? And unfortunately, Matthias Detis, who started modestly, showed an improvement, but he's not going to score any championship points in this one. He's going to be classified 30th at best with 10 laps of 16 completed. But hey, on the positive side, we're at the start of lap 14. Senderuva's lead is 1.2 seconds over Ferenc Kanchar. Ferenc Kanchar has a full second over Mika Laiho in 3rd place, but Jordan Lennox-Lamb getting closer to the Finn. Jordan Lennox-Lamb, however, not so far in front of the chasing pack. Seamus Udovicius 5th, Sean Babington 6th, Ben Cooper 7th, Alessandro Manetti 8th, Kevin Ludi 9, Alex Finkelstein 10th. So, if it looks relatively safe, and I hesitate to say any more than that, relatively safe for Zenderuva and Ferenc Kankshaw 1 and 2, how about the battle for the podium place in 3rd? Mika Laiho just holding off the challenge of Lennox Lamb, who's turning up the wick.
Through they come, through the final turn of the lap, over the start-finish line. Now goes Darua. Kanchar second, looks safe. Laiho does not look safe in 3rd place. So again, he's reeled in on that lap by Jordan Lennox Lamb. In fact, no, he's not, because they do exactly the same lap time, 48.766. Exactly the same lap time, to within a thousandth of a second for the drivers in 3rd and 4th. The other one to watch is the battle for 7th place, because in the blue race suit, Alessandro Manetti is closing up now to Ben Cooper. Ben Cooper in turn is closing up to the tail of Sean Babington. So a battle for 6th, 7th and 8th, just going through that hairpin at the top of your screens now. And at the back of that group with the blue race suit, Minetti is the leading Masters driver, and he has a glance at the inside of Ben Cooper. Can't get through there, but Ben, I think, is aware of his presence now. Can hear his engine from over the shoulder, and Ben taking a slightly more defensive line this time around. Darua goes through. 15 laps complete, Cameron, on the final lap of the race.
We're on the final lap of the race. A quick peep at the back. How on earth did Lucas Orrick find himself in 29th place and the last of the runners? Didn't see the incident that took him there, but if that's a negative, what about the positive? On the back straight for the 16th and final time, Zenderuva has 1.5 seconds on the field. Ferenc Kankshaw, actually Ferenc Kankshaw's margin of a second over Mika Laiho looked a little bit less than that when I last glanced out. Jordan Lennox Lamb, well, as Lucas Orrick goes past us at the start-finish line, it rather was a case of Lennox Lamb appearing to get closer. The naked eye suggested it, and it still does, and yet apparently not the case. But our first winner of the afternoon, it's Zenderuva of Belgium. Ferenc Kankshaw of Hungary goes second, Mika Laiho 3rd, Jordan Lennox Lamb 4th, Seamus Judovicius 5th, Sean Babington 6th, Ben Cooper 7th, and 8th, and winning the Masters class, Alessandro Manetti from here in Italy. Kevin Ludi was 9th, and Alex Finkelstein completed the top 10.
Brilliant drive by Zenderuva. You've seen him all weekend long up there in qualifying, in practice, in the heats, in the pouring rain yesterday and today. He's just had that air of victory about him, hasn't he? He's looked like he's going to win. He's felt confident, and he's been very, very relaxed all weekend when Sarah's spoken to him 2 or 3 times. So Zenderuva has just had that air of confidence that's taken him to the victory. Confident as well in his own ability and the setup that the guys have given him in Formula K, the team that supports him. So Zenderuva wins the race by 1.8 seconds. Doesn't sound a lot, but let me tell you, 1.8 seconds in a kart race at this magnitude is quite a comfortable margin. Ferenc Kankshaw is looking like his old self, isn't he? He's back to form, perhaps even better form than he's ever been before. Ferenc Kankshaw, who was quick as a junior, Ken, but went off the boil for a couple of years by his own standards, but now he's back. That's 2 second places this year. And Mika Laiho, that's a pretty good effort, I think. He's on the back foot a bit yesterday, but in the dry here today he's been quick, and from 6th on the grid, Mika Laiho, the championship leader, finishing on the podium. Jordan Lennox Lamb almost got to him, less than 0.3 of a second between them in the end, Ken.
Yeah, Jordan Lennox Lamb really did put on a good charge on Mika Laiho. I think the thing working against Jordan Lennox Lamb was that Laiho, even though he may have felt he couldn't get second or get the race victory, that determined, gritty appearance from the dour, dare I say it, the dour Finn, taking him clear of Jordan Lennox Lamb to claim that last podium place. Okay, we have got on screen the junior grid, but let's just call once again Zenderuva the winner, Ferenc Kankshaw second, Mika Laiho in 3rd place in the DD2 Open category. The DD2 Masters won by Alessandro Manetti, 2nd place Chris Adams, 3rd place Igor Mukin.
Okay, and Sarah Dryhurst, our pit lane reporter, is down there, fresh on the track, ready to speak to Zenderuva, our race winner here in Italy.
Zen, race winner, you take pole position. Congratulations. You made it look easy.
It's never easy. Everybody always says that it looks easy, but yeah, you just drive from lap to lap and you try to be as consistent as possible, and when you cross the finish line as first, then you know you did a good job. So I'm very, very happy. Yeah, it's really, really good.
You did exactly what we said. First of all, you kept a clear head. You went out and you remained that way. You had 1.873 seconds between you and second place.
Yeah, I don't know what to say. Yeah, it's a good victory, and I'm happy for the team. The chassis worked really well.